What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another Unreal Engine 5 game development live stream where we're back in our Deck Knight project, a game built from scratch using Unreal Engine 5, C++, blueprints, the gameplay ability system plugin, and all that good stuff. So today we're going to continue. We're going to work on our projectile pulling system. We're trying out a new camera angle. I don't know if it's going to matter. Just so down the line when we have our kitty in the little basket, you'll be able to see her a little bit better. And yeah, the camera might be a little shaky per usual just because it's on a very unstable desk. You know, I kind of move stuff around and kind of shake, so we might want to stabilize it, but at some point we'll need to figure it out. Maybe I can just quickly do something about it. I don't know. You guys can go there if you want. But yeah, we'll bring you down to back there. Let it be shaking for a bit. We got the cat on the floor. So let's start. So yeah, we wanted to work on damage, right? And applying damage. So in the original projectile example, you know, we have where we apply the damage, but we also had some helper not functions, like not even helper, but like additional data about damage and healing, whether or not we're going to be healing and stuff like that. So we're gonna have to figure that out and how best to construct that data. So let's clean up everything that we're doing in here. Let's get back to the projectile side of things. So like, to me, we need to have in our base struct or our data asset, it shouldn't really exist in the data asset, but it exists as a struct that would be in these functions themselves. So for example, I think it's like, where is it? Bow. Yeah, GA ranged bow base, for example. We have the basic attack. And we have something like the in projectile data, which is the data asset. So I think on top of that, we need to have a different struct for the type of data that it is. And like, you know, to be honest, I'm not sure how I should really construct that, if you know what I mean. Because like, some might be able to heal, some might be able to deal damage, some might be able to deal damage to allies, some might be able to heal enemies and stuff like that. So trying to see how we best kind of configure it. It could be, you know, two separate structs, like a healing properties and damage properties and stuff like that, and you kind of construct those values yourself. So let's do it that way for now. So we'll do like F projectile damage data. F projectile damage data. Generated body, and then we're going to start new property, projectile damage. Now let's look at some of the properties that we had originally. So we need to pass in some additional context, like damage types and additional granted tags and stuff like that. So we're gonna need a gameplay tag for sure, but first let's start with a float damage, make it 0. And if the damage is 0, then maybe the rest of the stuff doesn't matter, and we can hide it behind the conditional hides. So next is F gameplay tag damage type. I guess we can default it in some way, but probably it doesn't matter. Let's not default it. But yeah, let's add that meta. I hope that's valid. And then there should be an example of what that looks like, but I think that's right. We'll find out. I guess also with this meta condition, I don't think it will work if I'm gonna plug in some sort of variable. I wonder if there'll be like an edit condition for it, but I guess for now let's leave it as is. And then F gameplay tag container. Damage granted tags should also be okay. Can do the same properties. I guess technically that's fine, but I guess we gotta also say new property, edit defaults only. I don't know if it needs to be blueprint rewrite, but I'll just keep the same flow. Then we need a boolean. Bool E can damage allies. False. And then what other properties do we really need? So yeah, we can't really apply damage on expired or anything like that. That would be more of like an area of effect detail. So for now, I think that's valid. So we have BP projectile example, but we should have another example for healing if I'm not mistaken, right? Like the enemy's ability, unless I am mistaken. Let's go to the NPC and dummy abilities. Only have reactions really, but let's look. We have this combat one. Get the shoot projectile. Take this. So there is this NPC projectile base. And there's area of effect. So that's all it really is doing. And then also, yeah, sending the hit event. Which I'll have to also make sure we do. So for now, that's fine. So let's do the healing next. So we're gonna do use struct F projectile healing damage data. And then we'll also have to do the area of effect stuff after this. So a lot of the same properties. I don't know if it's going to be, if I need to do anything for healing. I kind of forget some of the properties that we have. I think we have like a heal over time. Let's look at our helper functions. There should be like apply heal. Yeah, so we have apply heal and there's heal context, and if we make this, it's the same thing, right? And then we have apply heal over time. Yeah, if we decide, so I guess in general I don't need to pass in damage type or anything like that. I can just pass in this damage context. Like, it could actually save me some time here. This damage context is mainly the hit result. But like, is there a way to hide a hit result in this form? Because I don't want the assumption to be you have to pass it in yourself with this struct. I wonder. I'll have to ask ChatGPT. Hide specific struct member on any as parameter. Oh. It would be nice if that was possible. I don't know if it is. Use a second struct. Okay, so for now, I'll leave that as is, because healing context and damage context is all kind of the same thing. But then I want to do B can heal enemies, and then I want to have this effect over time. So I want to also have a boolean to say if it's healing over time. And yeah, we'll change this as well to healing. And another bool, so B heal over time. And I guess maybe this, I should also have like a damage over time option. I just gotta remember what support I have on this. So apply damage over time. So we do. So same thing as well. Pretty similar context stuff. So let's just add it for healing first. And then, so yeah, same song and dance. But yeah, this one we can have that meta addition. Like so. And then we say F effect over time. Hope that's the right one. Yeah. There's our data. Back to overtime text. So we can't just forward declare it, it seems. A whole kit and caboodle. Okay. Bring that over too. That, and I don't know if I should have another another struct that just says F projectile, like resource modification or something. Or if it's fine to kind of provide both in the, I guess, these functions, which I think they exist in the polling system, right? So spawn and claim projectile. Yeah, I don't know. Like, do we want to have do we want to have like a spawn and claim damage projectile and then spawn and claim healing projectile and just have those associated ones there, or I think it just would make sense to just have a combined struct. So yeah, we'll do one more. So F projectile damage pipeline data. Let's do this is also healing, so let's make sure we fix that. Good. Oh, we're gonna get a kitty visit. Much Boo Boo. Don't go up that way, Boo Boo. Come this way. Oh no, she's going that way. All right. Hold. Boo Boo. I'm gonna put you gently into the basket. We'll let her have her fun for a second. Let's go to the basket. So yeah, F projectile healing data. Healing data. So now I should just be able to add this into our function signature. If it needs to be like that or not. We'll see what that looks like in practice. Making herself comfortable doing cool circles. Like that. Like that. Now, in our projectile, we need to also hold this information. So let's go to where we have like the homing data. Everything we have for homing, let's see. Oops. So those are the timers. Here we go. So new property, projectile, pipeline. That function. Oops. I don't know if we really need to do anything for this instantiate. to do kind of like a copy of the information. That. And then actually claim everything. We say instantiate. Then we eventually get down to here. Name, song, and dance. So because like when we do spawn and claim, yeah, we're also just copying it. So we don't technically need to instantiate it. So because yeah, I don't think it matters to that effect, because we don't really have to assign anything to any kind of components or something like that. So I think for now, let's not bother with it. One less function to worry about. Hey-o! How you doing? Thanks for popping in. But yeah, so for both these functions, we need to a new projectile damage pipeline data equals pipeline data. That. And let's see what that goes. Last time I was here, I didn't see the cat. Yeah, that's why I decided to change the camera angle so you can kind of see her a little bit better while she's hanging out. She's my rubber ducky. So we wrote a bunch of code here. We're going to see how it looks in practice. Just visually how it looks like when we try to claim these projectiles. Like I fear the construction of these projectiles might be too much. Well, yeah, whoops. It is a lot of data. So we have a data asset. Now the camera angle is definitely way better. I agree. One of these days I want to, like, if I have the money for it, invest in a kitty cam and just have a camera specifically for her. She doesn't know it, but she's gonna be internet famous. Okay, so still issues. So references must be initialized. So what reference are we talking about? So member. Okay, so what's wrong? Okay, so it's probably because it's that. So let's move on. Does pooling really make so much difference? I don't know. I don't know yet. Once I get things kind of functionally how I want them to be, like kind of one-to-one to how the original projectile was, we'll do some stress tests. Because like in my case, there could be chances where I would have multiple enemies on screen, and these multiple enemies could spawn multiple projectiles at one time. So rather than creating and destroying, I don't know, let's say 20 or 30 projectiles, they would just go from the pool, you know. And I would say like as soon as we start the game or whenever we enter like in an arena or whatever, during that loading process, we hook into the projectile pooling system and say, hey, spawn like at least 50 projectiles into the pool or something. So that it happens at once, and then from there. But yeah, we'll do some stress tests. Yeah, I mean, like to me, like it's partially because I wanted to learn a little bit more about it to see how I could effectively do it. Like I didn't want to go the approach for like not Niagara, but the mass system. It seemed like it's too overly complicated for my taste. So we're just going to go this route to see if it is functionally okay. Okay, so we have spawn and claim projectile. But it doesn't have the data. Now, is it because it's a reference? Because it's okay, so it's actually out here. So yeah, your boy is dumb. So let's fix up that signature. Be const, I assume. So let's update our signature one more time. Good. Let's compile that. Because yeah, the stress test that I want to perform is, I'll say like 5 of these dummy enemies that are spawning 10 of these projectiles at once. So each enemy spawning 10, so in a single frame or across a couple of frames, spawning and firing off 50 projectiles. There's one aspect that I'm also curious about is if I could also pool the ticking. So basically the pooling subsystem is responsible for ticking all of the active projectiles, and the ones that are dormant aren't being ticked. And I'm curious if that will help too. Because yeah, we already have like this projectile stuff. So it'd be interesting to see if they can shoot like, you know, 10 of these in a circle around them. Like for the stress test thing, I'll just create a very simple projectile that has the basic components of it, but just won't damage or anything like that. But yeah, let's look at this. So yeah, now we have pipeline data. Are you gonna get comfortable, Boo? Good job. So yeah, now we have the damage data. So in this sense, what we would do is a whole make, right? And so you would say, hey, I want to make the damage data, and then you pass along this stuff, right? So, as an example, this basic arrow was doing what? Elemental fire. Granted tags was like a stack, burn. And the projectile damage was some value. Let's just put a hard-coded value for now. We'll say 10. Can damage allies, we don't care about. We'll check damage over time in a second. But obviously, we need to now add the code for this. So it's going to happen on hit, right? So whenever we get on hit, we have this helper function, and then like on projectile hit, and we do a bunch of this stuff before we return to pool. So I'll probably want to make a function for this, like apply pipeline data, right? So new function. Doesn't have to really be a bool. We can just say void. So apply damage pipeline to hit target. We could just pass along. It doesn't matter if it's a T-weak object pointer or not. I think I could just pass that as an actor. And then first we'll just say if not hit actor.get. Now let's go to on hit. On projectile hit, and then we'll just say what's the word? Apply damage pipeline to target, and then we'll just say actor. So we get here, and then we have to kind of pull the data from it. Because the assumption here is if the healing data doesn't have a healing value in it, like if it's 0, we don't really care about it. Let's just go one at a time. So if damage pipeline data dot damage data dot damage is greater than 0, and we say if projectile pipeline data dot damage data dot is damage over time, else, whoops, then we're going to handle the damage over time stuff. So I need to get the damage pipeline. So apply damage over time to target, so we need to pass in hit actor, instigator, or can I just do get instigator? Damage, so then I could make myself easier. So in damage equals projectile pipeline data dot damage f gameplay tag in damage type tag equals that. Same thing here. That. And then also F effect over time. Hoping that's valid. So now this should make my life a little easier to construct this. I could just say And damage. I do have to kind of construct this. So F damage, pipeline context, damage context equals, or I just say that, and then damage pipeline context dot damage type this. And yeah, I also need to pass along the hit result. Let's add that to that signature. I think it could be const if I'm going to be honest. That. So we construct all of that good stuff. So most likely though, I can do this regardless. Probably like this part can all kind of happen up in there. We kind of finish out writing this. Go damage pipeline context. So call to non-static without an object argument. Look at this kitty. He's a good kitty. So but most likely not than not, I could say UGASC damage pipeline subsystem equals get maybe I have to also do like a world check or something like that. I always forget the syntax again. World systems. Look that up real quick. This. Let's. Okay. You can also just do a if. And since should be relatively safe. And then I should hopefully be able to say apply damage over time to target and pass in the same data. Member function can be made const. Let's make it const. Else, we're gonna say damage pipeline subsystem apply damage target hit actor. Get instigator, all that. So that should handle the damage aspect. And do we make that call down here? We do have some red. Oh, yeah, we got to pass in. We get hit result, right? And hit result. So that should work. Let's find out. We did write a lot of code there, so most likely we're gonna have some issues. Okay, function parameter hit result can't be defined as already. Okay, yeah, I gotta change the name. So, in hit result, PV is fine. But where's the signature? Oh. I don't know what I'm doing. I can just change it there, and then we just gotta fix it there. I guess if I am storing the result, I don't know if it's okay to make a copy or not, but it should hopefully be enough. So fingers crossed, gang. Okay, so that did fix it. So my assumption at the very least is we should get damage, and it should be fire damage, and it should be 10. And we can double check the damage over time. And if that works, then we can move on to healing, making sure that works. And then from there, we'll have to then figure out how we might want to construct ricochet properties and stuff like that. Because my fear is that this function is just going to become so big. Because we have the data, and I don't want to have to construct like certain data, be like, okay, this is a ricochet one, so in here you have to enable a ricochet, and then do a switch and like kind of construct two identical data assets, but just with properties that are not, I guess, holistically relevant, if that makes sense. Well, let's look at this, right? So damage is 10, elemental fire, burn stack. So I'm expecting my projectile, when I shoot the basic arrow, to deal 10 damage. So let's see. Okay, so something's not good. Let's see. We get to here, we go to here. Spawn and claim projectile, instantiate. And we get to this, right? So, but the fact that we're not dealing damage is an issue. So, do we get to here? We do. So, let's jump in. Okay. So hit actor is null. So that's where our first problem lies. Yeah, because we get to on projectile hit. We go through all this. And then, yeah, so basically we're not really passing along the right information. It's pretty clear. So we add the hit targets, we do all that, ignore actor moving is other actor. But I think we gotta pass along other actor instead. So, I mean, we could literally just say... We could just pass along just the one hit result. And then we could say... that might be enough. Let's try that again. I'm also worried about the... I don't know if it was an insure or something. But we're going to have to fix that, I think. So basically, when we register, so add dynamic, right? So most likely, we would need to check, hey, if projectile collision comp on component hit that is bound, that I just want to double check if this is what I should be using. Let's just see. I hope this will be okay. We'll definitely get the insure if it's going to be there again. So no big deal. I started piecing together the outline that I wanted to do for the motion warping tutorial I want to make. I want to start filming it tomorrow. Probably won't be out for another 2 weeks or something like that, but you know, I set up all the circumstances that I wanted to cover. I have, you know, like a enemy that can teleport around, and I want to make sure you guys understand how to use switch off conditions and how to properly construct warp targets and the stuff that I've been using and that additional context and stuff. And I kind of want to show you some of the video footage I captured. I know I'm going on a tangent at the moment, but I wanted to show examples from games that have motion warping. So for example, in Horizon Forbidden, I wrote Zero Dawn, but this is Forbidden West. You can see really heavy motion warping there, right? So like you're here and you go all the way over there. So it's kind of crazy to see some of the examples, and Crimson Desert is a more recent example. You kind of just see how much the player travels, but what's interesting too, you see the motion warping break in this game. Because like in the circumstances that's right here, I'm holding the stick backwards, like the left stick backwards, trying to move backwards. And as I'm doing that, the motion warping zips me backwards. Like it's pretty bad. But for the, you know, you'll see very strong motion warping there. And then there's more subtle motion warping in Ghost of Tsushima. Oh, that's not... Looks like that's not the right video. Whoopsie. Oh, that's the wrong date. That's 2025. Oh, it's a good thing I reviewed that now. We'll look at that later. But yeah, videos. Is this Ghost? No, I tried capturing Dragon's Dogma. This Crimson Desert. Downloads. I need to find June 2026. Is this? Yes. So more motion warping stuff. It's more subtle. You don't. It just does it just enough to kind of get you there. But you see some tracking happening with rotation, especially. But, you know, you can also just attack in some random ass direction sometimes. So let me fix the examples. I could also probably capture footage from Witcher 3. Just to kind of show more context and stuff. So let's see now if I deal 10 damage. If I fire the basic arrow. I do. So now that logic works, and it's 10 damage, and I apply a stack. But yeah, then I need to also send a hit reaction. But yeah, I eventually get to burn, which is all great. Oh, she went to sleepy. So let's see if this also works for damage over time. So if I switch this to damage over time, then I make this. So apply value over total duration. I'll explain what that means in a second. So effect period, I'll say 1 second, and I want this to last 4 seconds. So it should deal a total of 40 damage if everything works. So if I do this, 1, 2, 3, 4. That seems to work. I have to double check one more time. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So it technically does 50 because the initial damage application counting. But that's fine. Then if I change it to apply value over total duration, it means it will apply 10 damage over the 4 seconds. So 1, 2, 3, 4. But that part doesn't work. So we're gonna have to debug that. It'd be just an issue in our damage pipeline. So, but yeah, let's also just fire multiple projectiles. I just want to make sure that other ensure is resolved. Yeah, it seems fine. So let's see why that part of the damage pipeline doesn't seem like it works. Yeah, let's find the hit event. So here, then we get to here, then we get to here. Right, so apply damage what time to target. We do all that, and then we do the internal. Haven't looked at the damage pipeline stuff in a while. So we're doing all that stuff, getting the context, okay. Fine, all that stuff. So apply effect to self. So somewhere for this. So we do the damage spec handle, construct spec handle. Duration time. This else we do the make outgoing. I remember this worked at some point. There should be like construct healing effect. I thought I got this to work for healing. What is the parameter called again? Apply value over total duration. So apply value over total duration. So do I actually not do that anywhere? I thought I did. That's wild. So let's look at it one more time. So we do the whole thing over there. And then we do apply damage to target internal. So I would assume it's here that needs to be addressed. Because we are setting the color by magnitude here. And damage is there, right? So let's see. So what do I have to check? Because like eventually we get to this. So one more time, we do apply damage over time. So I think here is where we might need to modify the damage, honestly. So, if effect over time context dot duration over time, we would just say damage equals oh, let me make it float cash damage and then we would say damage equals how we want this to work. So effect period, effect duration. So we just have to say for so effect duration. No, effect period by the duration. So let's say the effect period is 0.5. Essentially, we would need to scatter 10 damage over 8 things. So it would have to be duration divided by period. That's right. We're going to put a breakpoint there. No, let's put a breakpoint here. Let's see if that works. If that does work, we're gonna have to do the same thing then for applying heal over time. And we'll kind of just blindly write it if we find that this works, and then we'll do healing next. But we also have to do the check for if we can deal damage to allies. Because eventually, like for the player, we'll have things that we can, like summons and things that can spawn onto our side through cards and stuff like that. So we may want to have maybe some stuff where, you know, like a debuff that's just, okay, projectiles also can damage allies, you know. So all well and good. So again, we get to here. So 4 seconds, 0.5 period should do what? 1.25. Might round it, but 10 divided by 8, yeah. So let's see if we get that, or if we get a crash, or get some weird shit. So do it. Okay, we get here, which is obviously what we need. Damage. Does it evaluate to 1.25? It does. And it rounds it up, which is fine. Because for the player, we want their damage to round up. So that works. So we need to do something very similar. We'll do here. And we'll do cash healing. Finally go into that. But yeah, looking into our stuff here, so can damage allies. We'll have to, I forget where, but yeah, team ID is 0. Let's make this, or his was 1. Now it's 0. The player's team should also be 0. So yeah, they're on the same team. So this shouldn't really do anything. Okay, so it does. Because I think we just had to do our same check. So like, I'm also not sure what would be the best way to prevent the hit from occurring if they're on the same team. I would want maybe it to pass through. We'll have to look that up. But for now, we need to add the logic in. Because right now, B can damage allies is false. So let's go in here. And we can say bull B is hit actor and ally. So we have a helper function. It's in that hit actor, right? So I'm gonna convert this argument from type const. Guessing because this is I mean, can I do this inline? Speed const? Looks like it can. And then so if projectile damage is greater than 0, I mean, how do I want to write this? I can maybe just write it within this, right? So we say if B is hit actor and ally, and projectile I mean, how do I want to say this? Like, there has to be a better way of writing that statement. See? Let's see. It seems like that is the best way. So let's see if that compiles. Yeah, I'm looking into a little bit the how to ignore allies. Because maybe I could add them into the ignore after one moving thing. Could be useful. I don't know how good that would be at runtime, but maybe it's fine. Maybe when we instantiate the projectile, we could do the same. Give me just a second. Yeah, let's see if this will work, because now in theory I should damage the ally. So yeah, let's see if this will deal damage. Well, it shouldn't deal damage in theory, right? So yeah, we still get the hit event, but no damage. And then if I were to say can damage allies, we should see the same. Now we're dealing the damage. Sorry, boo boo. Go back to sleep. Everything's okay. She was sleeping so peacefully, we thought she was dead. Go back, boo boo. Everything's fine. So yeah, that works. I'm not a huge fan. Like, it's like the actual damage number for the hit doesn't really move, or it's not very animated, but we'll figure that out later. Because the initial hit is cool, like it bounces, but yeah, now then it's like really static. And dead, right? So yeah, let's see if we can do this where when we instantiate the projectile, right? We could do it in here where is there an option for ignore actors? Yeah, eventually maybe there will be like a list of stuff that for like a subsystem maybe that will track all your summons and stuff like that. But for now we can just get all actors and just go from there. And then I don't know what the C++ equivalent is. So it's a statics. Okay. That. Let's clean this up. And we could say if, or no, it has to be 4. So 4, actor, and count actors. If ally want to rename this to be, is actor an ally? Other places. Okay, so there's this stuff that I need to get rid of eventually. Well, let's see if that works. And if it does, we'll call it a day. Which code type language for game create? I'm using C++. So this is Unreal Engine 5, so we use C++ and blueprints whenever we get the chance to do so. So that compiled just fine. Gosh, she's the cutest cutie. So yeah, let's see. Show me the results. I don't know really what that means. I don't know what results you're expecting. So let's see. So now this guy is, I believe, still an ally. So team ID is 1. So I think if we change him back to 0, he'll be an ally. So then this projectile should just go through him. And it does. And then it eventually destroys itself after a second, and that works. So awesome. So that part works. Awesome sauce. So now we are ready to do the same stuff for healing. And ideally, like a single projectile can only do one of two things, but you could technically make it both things, right? So we could more or less kind of copy a lot of the same logic. Maybe it could be cleaner, but we'll see. If projectile damage dot healing data dot healing and almost a similar thing. So yeah, we just gotta be careful here because if it can damage allies, yeah, we also gotta fix that actually. So where are we doing that? Should work. Yeah, let's get back to what we were writing before. Oh, I don't remember where we were. Here we go. So if healing, yeah, so we basically want to copy the same kind of check, but as he switched the boolean, we're going to be checking. So we want to say if is an ally and So this is for healing enemies, right? So if not, and how are you game developer? I'm not sure what that question means. I just work on games. So I guess I'm a game developer. That should be enough. And we more or less have to copy the stuff inside, right? So this could probably be simplified, but we're just going to do it this way for now. So inhale, healing. We're going to say healing data dot healing. Like that. And we got our kitty up and at 'em. You want to come down? Get one. Come on. Oh, there you go. Say hi to Boo Boo. Bye bye. Thanks for popping in, Boo Boo. So yeah, we want to say in healing. Meaning, do you study in school or practice? Oh, okay. So I did go to school for this. I don't know. It's like 15 years ago at this point. And I do game development professionally for my full-time job. So I've been working on games since, I guess, professionally since 2016 in the AA space and AAA space. And so this is just like a hobby outside of that work, just learning, growing, using it as a creative outlet and stuff like that. And, I originally wanted to be a level designer, but eventually, once I learned more Unreal Engine 5, I started getting, well, first it was Unreal Engine 3, UDK, and it was Kismet scripting. But I learned that and I started liking technical design, so I started focusing more on technical and system design. So I'm kind of like in the realm of gameplay design and stuff like that. Let's fix this. And then we gotta do healing data dot heal over time. In healing, and then we got healing pipeline context, healing. Okay. So I think that should be enough. Like, I feel like this could be refactored in a better way, so I'm gonna just see if ChatGPT has any recommendations for that. But in the meanwhile, we should be able to compile that and see if that works. So that compiled, so that's good. So it's asking, simplifying the target stuff. Okay, so there's some recommendations for clearing out some of the stuff here. So let's just see if this works, and then we'll look at the refactoring options. So I want to check healing now, right? So let's unplug that, and we will do the make healing data. We'll do very similar stuff. For now, we will do a factor of 10. So the dummy character is not an ally just yet, so we'll just make him one. I should still be able to deal normal damage to him, so let's just be sure of that. Yes, we can deal damage. And we'll bring him a little closer just so we don't have to run. Healing type. I don't think there is healing type. Damage type healing. Maybe I should construct that automatically. So let's go to our data. Where is that information? We gotta go to ability system, native gameplay tags. Do we have that as a type? We do damage type healing. Hopefully I get to write it like that, right? We'll see. That's good. So healing granted tags, we don't care. Can't blah blah blah. So let's see. If I deal a bunch of damage, so we'll do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, whatever. Now, if I shoot him, he should get healed for 10. And it doesn't. Okay. So that means our instruction at the beginning, where we're saying if it should ignore, is a problem. So we're saying, is the actor an ally and this, or so I think that's going to be correct. Let's do a hot reload there. Actually, no, I can't do a hot reload. Stop, cancel. Since we changed some of the header stuff, we need to do a full recompile. But again, probably with like, maybe it'll be worth doing something similar. And then we can just say if B can damage target, or B can target. We can also, let's just do this refactored now. Where's the on hit? Damage. And we should eventually just get to like here. If not, just write it like this. thing. So I should be able to now say if. We'll have to double check this as well, but this should, I guess, simplify these structures. So let's double check it. So can we damage? Is the actor an ally? If yes, can we damage? Oh, yeah, that seems valid. Let's try. And if we get this to work, then we're at a good spot. I think at this point, at this point, it should be a good time to start stress testing. I'm just seeing what benefits we get. From the pooling before we start investing more time into it. So at the very least, we can have some visual properties and do all that stuff, and we should be able to recreate it. So maybe we can do that starting next week, assuming all this works fine. So let's look at the team. So with an ally. Let's go into our projectile. Can heal enemies. So can I? So it still passes through, which is upsetting. So that condition still doesn't work. Let's just be super sure. Okay, let's go to where we're instantiating that. Let's go here. And we go bam. So can damage target is false. Can heal target is true. Ah. Yeah, so basically I just got do that. So, fingers crossed, gang, on this one. Okay. Third time's the charm. I should be able to hit. Nah! So do we, for some reason, we still get there? There has to be an end, I guess. So what am I trying to say? So if we can't damage it and we can't, yeah, and we can't heal it, so fourth time's the charm. Your boy ain't good at the looks like the early access content for Gatekeeper is not much. Must be almost done with it. I thought there was going to be more, but I guess early access means it's early access. One more time. So we should at least see a hit. Yes, and we got to heal, right? But it's dealing damage. We know why. Because I didn't update the actual function to be healing. I copy pasted it and did all the wrong stuff. So we need to down here. And it says to apply healing over time. And then apply heal to target. So that's my bad. All right. One more time. So assumingly, we shouldn't really see a number because they have full health, right? So let me smack them. Then hit them. Healing, yes. Now let's double check the healing over time. Same thing, it should heal pretty strongly. Okay, so that does heal down. Which is not what I want. I want the healing effects for the player be higher. But for now, that's fine. And then let's do can heal enemies. So what happens if I don't change it into an enemy? So he'll still be there. So that's fine. That's what we want. But let's make him now team back to 1. And let's see. Bam, 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 bam. So can I heal? Yes. So good. And then if I make this false, all right. It should just go through him. So it still hits. Well, let me smack him. Is it still healing? No. That's good, but yeah, we don't. Like we want it to pass through at that point, right? Like if it's a healing projectile and it doesn't heal enemies, what's the result that we get here? Because yeah, it's not dealing damage. So the assumption is I guess maybe we could change it to, instead of assuming true, we could say similar thing down here, but for healing. Maybe. So yeah, let's do one more compile, and then we're gonna call it a day. Yeah, I'm gonna have to update my code base. It's been a hot minute. So let's do all of that. Well, deck night source and deck main. Copy. Paste. It's all. Go. Let's mark for add and check out. Projectile pulling. And yeah, for those who don't know, you can check out the open source for the project. It's all the code based, none of the content. But you can at least see the code if you wish. So in theory, if this guy is an enemy and we're not dealing damage, it should go through him. Unless we had healing. So we still got there. Oh, wait, no. This is good that it ignores. I'm stupid. So go through, right? Cool. So it worked. We are smart. I hope. Let's just double check our use cases, and also at the same time, let's mark stuff for add. That we need to mark stuff for add. And we'll check out a bunch of shit and then revert unchanged, but yeah. So now if I say can heal enemies, it hits, yes. And then let's reconstruct the damage one. Deals damage, yes. Change his ally. My team. And we say can damage allies, so this should be good. And then if this is false, let's go through them. Yes. Okay. So it seems like the damage stuff is in a decent place. And like I'm concerned only because there's a lot of data you need to be constructing for the pool. Like there's the damage pipeline data, there's the homing, and then eventually if we want to do ricocheting, do we need to also add like a ricochet thing? Or like not sure. But this I think this is enough to start doing a stress test. So we can set that up in the next stream, which will be maybe on Sunday, but probably next week, depending. So for now, almost done with, you know, the one-to-one updating for our projectile system for the bow. We just need to introduce the ricochet again, or some way to hook into the ricochet. But you know, at the very least, we got something working again. So I'm happy about that. So let's just make him not an ally anymore. Double check one more time. Yeah, we can do some debugging later, or some what's the word? Performance tests. Because we can make a version where we spawn the actor like this, and same thing for the enemies, and just see what happens to the FPS. Because I should have what's that unit. We can kind of just see how things behave. Oops, I just opened up Godot. So revert unchanged files. Sorry, we don't care about that right now. So yeah, that's what I'm going to call it for today. We managed to get both damage and healing back online for our projectile pooling. So I hope you enjoyed the stream. So make sure, if you aren't already following me here on Twitch, make sure to follow and make sure to subscribe there on YouTube, and make sure to join our Discord. Come hang out, learn, share knowledge, enjoy gaming with us. And again, here is the open source link to the GitHub. Feel free to check out the source code. But yeah, until next time, have a good night, and I will see you soon.